panjang kata itu dah panjang. Tambah pula kalau Zamri dia kena diraja lagi semua. Baik, dan juga Datuk KSU. Saya datang hari ini untuk bersama-sama untuk meningkatkan kerjasama dengan Singapura, negara yang penting dan negeri jiran. Dan kita maaf kerana terlambat kerana kita bincang panjang lebih masa sikit dengan Perdana Menteri Siandu, kemudian bersambung dengan Kepada. Jadi saya nak mulakan dengan berikan pandangan tentang pertemuan tersebut. The meeting with Prime Minister Siandu will be cordial and fruitful because I represent a view with my team, the Cabinet, that we should enhance bilateral relations. We should not allow contentious issues to drag and create unnecessary problems between the two countries. We have a great history together. We have the resolve to deal with these challenging issues together. Of course, there will be differences, and I told some cabinet members from Singapore that sometimes negotiations with Singapore is always tough and difficult, but we should pursue the common agenda. Okay, there are things that they can learn from us, and there are a lot of other things too that we can learn from them. We need investments from Singapore. We need to focus on this new technology, the new economy, digitalization, and I mentioned also, in addition to the MOU that we signed, an initiative of Tengku Zafrul and Yusuf Fahmi. Beyond that, we have, for example, the need to enhance our capacity in terms of economic collaboration, in terms of food security, right? Malaysia has been rather sluggish in its growth. Political battle has been rough and that had dragged on the economy. But the central issue is still governance, poor governance, endemic corruption. And we have talked about it, but corruption seems to be systemic. And now that it's 2 months I've been in government, I realize it is worse than I thought in the beginning. It's not something new. Hussein Alatas have talked about it for decades. And if you have an opportunity to read, he's tackled the problem of corruption, the myth of the Rhodesian native. You will realize that corruption has been a disease, but no way has he referred to it as being systemic. To me, to my mind, it is. So people do ask me, why do I harp on this issue so strongly? And I must say that this is a central challenge to us in Malaysians. The challenge of governance, due to abuse of power, of and massive corruption that has inflicted the entire system of this country. This situation is not hopeless because you still have political leaders, business people in the business community, the academic, who are quite concerned, who are quite determined to chart a new political landscape in this country. And that resolve is important to my mind. It's critical. If we do, for example, take that resolve. That's why I crafted this Madani. It's not something new. It's just I want Malaysians to realize that we need to focus on the economy. It has to be inclusive. We have to get a clear understanding what sustainability is all about. It's just not economic growth. It's also about justice. It's about care and compassion. It is not unbridled capitalism. So all these issues have been discussed, deliberated by our scholars. But we have to put it into concrete policy framework. And we are blessed because it is a multiracial society, religious. Okay, Islam is the religion federation. Vast majority are Malays and Muslims, but that's not the necessity to be able to work together. Respect. Also, respect and trust is also key terms that are used in the Madani concept. Because why do you talk about race and religion if there's no compassion? Why do you talk about religion when there's no sense of justice for everyone? How can a religion be relevant to us when you allow discrimination, abuse of power, oppression? They cannot be. So there is gross contradiction in terms. So this is a major challenge. I come here to appeal to you also to have this courage to try and make the necessary and resolve to try to support an attempt to change the political landscape. Mine is not easy. Yes, I happen to be Prime Minister now, but it's not easy. You can't do it. I am fortunate because whatever criticism against my team who's some are in charge, etc. But these 2 months I have not encountered any problem. Okay, in ensuring first issue of institutional reform, that the judiciary must be fiercely independent, that the enforcement agencies, including MACC or Commercial Crime Division or the Inland Revenue Board, must continue and conduct their work independently. But I have not encountered any problem. I have not found any minister thus far coming to appeal to have some form of negotiated tender or arrangements that would benefit their family members or cronies. So I think this is a sign that people, whatever the problems in the past that they've encountered, people do realize that we need to save this country for all Malaysians. I'm a Malay. I'm a committed Malay. I make no apologies. I'm proud of Bahasa. I'm proud of my culture and heritage. I'm trying to my best to be a good practicing Muslim. But that's not necessarily lead us to be prejudicial or discriminate others or condescending towards others. This is, to my mind, important to realize. And do I have, now after holding office and working together as a team, do I have this concern that we may not succeed? No, I'm very optimistic because I found many Malaysians who are just waiting for a chance to bring back Malaysia to its prime. There's so many Malaysians who have that intention. They've been sometimes complicit to the excesses of the past. I have criticized not only political elite, but also people in the academia. You have professors and scholars who just submit to the excesses. And I have said this before, that one MDB would not have happened if the political elite, the bureaucracy, the intelligentsia or the academic, the scholars take a position, you know. But it did happen because there is that sense, not only despair, but complicity to the excesses of the crime. But that was the past. Now let us move now as a team of all Malaysians, Malays, Chinese, Indians, Kadazans, Dayak, those with that vision, working with that vigor to transform the society. Now look at, for example, the issue of the economy. Of course, I've said that we need investments, domestic and foreign direct investments. And I commend the Foreign Ministry and MITI, for example, taking this extra mile initiative to try and convince investors to come in. And from their report, it's not too difficult now. Is it? When they see a credible leadership, political stability, people are just rushing to come in. And Prime Minister Slalu alluded to this in my discussion with him. No. But what do you want to achieve? Okay, growth. But do we want to allow unbridled capitalism to operate? No. Because we must make sure that no community is marginalized. Be it the Malay heartland or the urban poor among the ethnic Chinese, or the Indians in the estates, or the vast rural heartland among the Dayak, the Ibans, then Orang Ulu, etc. So there must be this attempt to understand sustainability in that context. Now, of course, we have the environment, the green, etc., which I don't need to repeat. But that's in essence what we are trying to do. Okay. Now back to our issue in Singapore. As I said, there are a lot of issues. Example, issue airspace. Happens to be Malaysia airspace. But you have a Changi Airport. Is it reasonable to insist that in every movement at Changi Airport they must get approval from Malaysia? I don't think it is necessary. But the airspace, other than that, must be preserved in terms of our national sovereignty. But this is where good neighbors should negotiate to try and resolve. It does not need to take 5 decades or 6 decades to resolve that problem. Okay. Similarly, in terms of which both of us agree, you see hundreds and thousands of people moving from Johor every morning, having to wake up 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, what sort of leaders are we? We just don't care. What happens if I come from that family, having to survive, to work in Singapore, wake up at 3:34 in the morning and move to Singapore to work with huge queues? So we agreed, okay, temporarily, before we change the system of digital, whatever, cards, whatever, is Fahmi, you need to work faster on that. Prior to that, what we can do is, for example, to open up, have more lanes, have place for officers, for immigration, customs, speed it up. Well, we have 50 now, have 30. So I'm giving immediate instructions. Do it, because it means so much to these families. And who cares? Normally we don't care. We only care before the elections. Or for the next 4 years, good luck to you. I want to make a difference. I'm talking about after the elections. So these things we can do. In my discussions with Prime Minister Slalu, he was supportive. He said, okay, I know you have more officers there, we'll reciprocate and do it fast so that it will ease. Similarly for Singaporeans, President Anima told me that her friends, her family friends, had to wait 12 hours to get to cross to Kuala Lumpur, to Terengganu, wherever. To Kuala Lumpur, sorry. And well, maybe at a peculiar time, circumstances, it may take extra long, but ordinary case, we need to do more. That's precisely what I intend to do. Of course, there are some, again, I say the very contentious issue like Batu Putih. We have taken a very strong position, the present cabinet, expressing our regret for the failure of the then Prime Minister Tun Mahathir not to appeal when we lost the case at the ICJ. But that's done. We disagree, but that's done. ICJ has given its decision. And as a country, we have to honor our commitment. Okay? And the agreement, or respect the decision of the ICJ. So it's done. But we have to express, I told Prime Minister Slalu, we have to express, we actually disagree. It was wrong for any Prime Minister to ignore this issue of sovereignty. They say, oh, it's a stone. It doesn't matter. It is ours, it is ours. Okay. Well, I understand that we have lost the case, but what I'm saying is, we did not appeal when we should have done so. Okay? So we state the stand, so that in the negotiations, the Singapore authorities understand the pain that we have got to go through. But should we go then to war over Batu Putih? No, of course not. It's madness. But should we negotiate, not in terms of ownership, because ownership is only in Singapore, in terms of some of the issues of environment, of some projects there that may affect our sovereignty or the borders. So these things can be discussed. And I've told Prime Minister Slalu, I'm giving instructions so that Minister Zamri is not able to take leave until he helped resolve this issue. So these are things that everyone, other than leaving it and continue tension. At least in water, there's a problem. That's why I'm saying to us here, Malaysians, we leadership, bureaucracy, or so-called experts must take their job seriously. Lackadaisical attitude, this unpreparedness when coming to negotiations have led us to some of these unresolved problems. Water agreement is an agreement. When we were about to negotiate, we did not. But I think Prime Minister Slalu was kind enough to, I said, look, I'm new guy in this game. I said, give me a chance to administer this country and work together. Of course he laughed. He said, not serious. I said, serious. I'm just 2 months as Prime Minister. So I said, I don't mind. Do we want to, how do we look at Singapore? Some say, oh no, they are a Chinese country, we should not entertain, and they are majority non-Muslims. I think these things do not represent Malaysians. It's just a voice in the wilderness. It's just some desperate voice of some semi-literate rascals. Yeah, how can you do that? We are talking about survivors and nation, and there will be immense benefit to both countries. You maintain very good relations. I'm determined to pursue that. But there are problems, of course. Okay? And at times, I've said to our friends in Singapore, be reasonable. Some will win, some will lose. That's how we work as friends. You can't expect us to, give everything, because Malaysians are really concerned about, price of water, etc. So let us expand this, for example. Limited resources in Johor, there's capacity in Pahang. Let's look at the whole scheme. I don't do a scheme of things will remind me of the past Prime Minister. So, he agreed. He agreed, so we look at the total picture. So this is deemed to be fair to Pahang, fair to Johor, and fair to Singapore. We look at this, which means we reopen the subject, because the subject was taboo for some years. See? So I'm very pleased that there is this more open attitude, friendly, and commitment to support each other. And as you know, not only in Johor, because Menteri Besar wants me to only represent Johor, I don't. Johor is a priority, don't worry. But also I used to represent Port Dickson, so I have to plan to also speak on behalf of Negeri Sembilan. I'm now from Tambun, so I have to speak on behalf of Perak. And of course I'm really from Penang. So we have to think of all these countries. And we have also to see the possibility of them investing in Kedah, Perlis, Terengganu, Negeri Sembilan. Otherwise we continue to lose these countries, these states. So we make sure that more investment, people get proper job, good education, they'll be more reasonable, I think. So that's so far most of the things I've addressed, Foreign Minister. Right. No, normally in my sessions I encourage the Menteri Besar, the ministers to speak before me, but then because we were a little late. Now, so that is so far Singapore, but it comes to the issue of Madani, which is very important to my mind, because it's a tough work ahead. But I think we have to work together. But I think we have to work together. And 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 we have to work in charting the course for the nation, the economy. There's been attempts to derail the process by harping on issue of racism and religious bigotry. It is harmful in the medium, the long term. Do not underestimate the problems that it can create in the future. So work hard, support each other, and hopefully we'll have a better future for the country. So terima kasih atas pandangan dan mendengar dan kesabaran, dan kalau ada soalan-soalan yang mudah saya jawab, yang susah saya tak boleh jawab sebab dia scholar. Saya. Okey, terima kasih.